What's happening, people? Welcome back to Out of the Loop. Thank you very much for joining me. So this video, I'm going to show you a track that I did in the live stream a few weeks ago, and I basically deleted all of the musical elements from it, like bass, arp, or whatever else was in there. Deleted it all, kept the drums, and then remade it with a collaboration with a good friend of mine. And it's turned into something really special. Sounds very like This Never Happened, Jerro, Massane. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but that kind of vibe. And it's yeah, I'm really happy with the results. So I thought I would show you guys. It's actually going to change a bit this track. So the version that it is now, this is my version. Well, some edits that I've done, and then you can see I've frozen all this stuff because I've sent it off to somebody who I'm collaborating with, and he's going to do his own touch. So I thought I would show you this part of it because I wouldn't want to show the finished product in case it gets signed and the labels aren't happy with that. Let me just unfreeze some stuff. Can I do this for multiple things? I think so. Unfreeze, yeah, cool. Cool, so this is the track, right? So if you watch the live stream, maybe you might recognize the arrangement. And like the drum style, it goes from like deep house and then goes into breaks here, which is something that I really loved that I did, but I didn't like the musical elements that I had. And the guy that I worked with on this collaboration, we're working on an EP. He plays piano, so he's really good with his melodies. So he sent me like some MIDI over. I think he sent just this nice progression. Slow low. Really nice. So yeah, he sent me that, and I think like this running water thing, like texture. It's very quiet, but yeah, it's not relevant. And then he sent me just the bass pattern, and then I just kind of made it into a track, and then beefed up the drums quite a lot with the drum technique that I showed in the last video that I posted. But I'll go through it all, and I'll just play you the track, well, part of the track. We'll go from here. Oh. Just make sure everything's on. Being limited, so it is a bit louder. Probably too loud. Yeah, cool. So that's the track as of right now. Obviously, I think it will change a little bit. I think the guy I'm collaborating with wants to just change the melody of this lead a bit, and just a few arrangement stuff. But the general idea is here, and this will be sent to This Never Happened, along with 2 other tracks that we've been doing that are of a similar vibe. So I'll let you know how that gets on. If it gets signed by them, that would be really good for you guys to see what a This Never Happened type of song looks like. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So I'll go through some of the stuff. The drums, yeah, I can go through all of it actually. So the kick, it's just this like nice thumping kick from Deep Premium Volume 5. And there's a fair bit of EQ, just getting rid of like boxy frequency here. And then I like to cut out the high. I don't really like the ticky. Just like a nice thumping kick. I've transposed it up 2 semitones because it was just didn't have enough punch. So it was too subby. And that's it. And then I just got an auto filter on there just in times when I need to filter out in fact, I don't know why I would have filtered out the highs. Yeah, I think this is okay. Yeah, so it filters in the kick just for this bridge here. So it starts off low and then just opens up and brightens up until here. Don't need all this automation. All right, cool. Yeah, so nothing crazy to show on the kick. It's just that it's a nice kick. I haven't tuned it to the track. I've just made sure it was nice and punchy. Okay, so drums. Bit of processing, just like compression. This EQ here is just like boosting in like the highs and a bit of where the snare is. I like to do that a lot. And then I've just turned it down, the whole group down a bit. Bit of filtering on the drums just in times, not all the time. Like here I filter the drums up slightly. And then like really filter them up here so you get this kind of it's like a nice little sweep. Cool. And then so what's in the drums? We have a snare group which has got no processing on it. This was off, which is strange. Oh, that should have been over here as well actually. Let's just bring that in here. And then what else? Yeah, so this is just like it's basically a snare that's laid up quite a lot. So I have this main snare that I use quite a lot. It's just this through the Ben Boma pack. I use this in like nearly all my tracks, just because I think it's like a nice solid snare. I would end up trying to recreate that anyway with just other drum samples, just that nice short snappy snare. So I just use the same loop over and over, and then I'll just beef up the drums around that to make them sound a bit more different for each track. So then we got this crunch, which is just, like a nice texture to layer on top of the snare. And it's not all the time, it's just every other, as you can see here. So that's just like to make the snare sound a little bit interesting and different. And then we've got these other snares, the left and right snares that are slightly panned to the left and right, and they've got a fair bit of reverb sent on the bus, and they're playing like the typical like breaks. Just like every now and again there's like and then the other one will play the same thing but on a different, so it's just like a lot of variety in the drums, so they're not like, it's not just the same loop over and over. Some people would rather have it like very clean where it's just like consistent and whatnot, but I like to have some like, okay, there's this little like weird bit here, then there's another weird bit here, well, not weird but like something that you don't expect but it still sounds in time. So it's just like little things going off like left and right and stuff like that. And then the perks, so yeah, I did show this technique in the last video. If you want to watch it, it's quite a long video though, it's like an hour long. Um, I think I'm going to try and really shorten down my videos now. But yeah, so this this is just like a weird little perk thing that I found from you probably won't even really notice it, but it's just there emphasizing that. So there's a few things that play like that kind of pattern, and they're all like, they line up, so all the hits line up, so there's nothing that's out of time. So this little thing here is it's that there's just like nice little perks that are dancing around, when they're all very quiet, as you can see here. They're all quiet, but they're all like beefing up that kind of sound or that rhythm, but with different textures and different sounds. And to be fair, I could have this a little bit louder and maybe like even pan this somewhere. It's too quiet. Yeah, I don't want it to be overpowering. It's just to like beef up that idea. Yeah. Anyway, so there's these little things. Just like this almost sounds like a voice thing. I think it might be. No, it's not. It's just like another bongo or some kind. And it kind of goes onto the voice. It makes it sound like the voice is doing something, but really it's just some bongo. But I like that. It's just like a little weird glitchy thing. And then we got this roll-in thing. It's just kind of like filling up the perk space. Another thing that's just there, but it's not too much. It could be like this. But I don't want that. Just a little subtle thing. And then we'll go into, what is this? This is probably like the main. So that's really like hitting home that breaks kind of style. Like I really like that. And I've cut out the kick. So all these loops, generally I would have cut them up. But you can see here I've like consolidated them after like taking out bits that I don't need. So this would have had like some booming sub kick. And then I just took it out and whatnot. Kept the things that I want. Moving on. And the processing on most of these drums it's purely just EQ. I'm just cutting out the lows and leaving them. I don't need to compress them. They're all like good samples, so I don't need to then try and just put reverb on them and delay and blah blah blah. I just want them to be clean down the middle. There's like hardly any reverb on my drums apart from in these two snares. That's not always the case. Sometimes I put a bunch of reverb, but usually I put reverb on like the snare, just so it's like really, it depends on the type of song. Like with a track like this, or when I've got so many drum elements, there's quite a lot of like little perks and stuff. You can't have things that are like bleeding into each other with like reverb and delay, because then you just kind of, you're masking the other sounds. Maybe the delay could work in your favor. It could delay something like a perk hit that delays into another perk hit, which then creates this new sound. But if that's not what you're going for, and you're just putting delay on because you like the sound of delay on a bongo on an individual channel, then you got to think in the context of all the rest of your drums. You got to, like, for me, I like really short drums that all have their own character, and that was the idea here. Okay, so and then there's just these perk things that I put in myself. It's just emphasizing that because I just really like that style. And it just plays it a bit different each time. That's it. This channel here is just like washed out drums. So I've put a bunch of reverb and filter delay, and it's just to be playing when the bridge is on. And you can hear it's just like an atmospheric. just so there's something like there, and it kind of goes with like the rain sound that's down here, something that's like pitter pattering around your head and whatnot. It's very quiet and subtle. You can probably notice it more here. Yeah, did I show this one as well? Yeah, it's just like a texture loop, so it's good for. Oh, I think I did show it. Yeah. Okay, so that's the perks, and then there's hats. So the hats are, there's this nice shaker from Arcade. This is just playing. It's just playing this. So it's just one thing being held. It's like a dirty, like, loop, and I think it's a little bit different. Like, nah, it's pretty. Oh yeah, there's like a little ch at the end. I mean, and I haven't really done anything there. I've just held down a single note, and that's a really nice thing to just have, just like here. But the general idea with all these drums and stuff, like why I have so many, it's just so I have more to play with, like when I'm doing my arrangements. I'm not like, okay, so at the main drop we've got like the kick, snare, and the hat, like open hat or whatever. And then like, what do I do for the build up? I can't just have like the kick and snare, because then it doesn't feel special when the snare comes in on the drop and stuff like that. So I like to just have things that sound like the main drums, or that can like just fill the space with some drums when I'm building up until the main part. Like here, like everything gradually builds. You can see like I use some parts of drums, then more, and so on, and then we get like all the drums here. So it's like just building, more drums are coming in. There's some perks now. You get this like low perk, and then you get this and like for all the little fills and stuff, like just before, it's just purely like this loop being dragged over, and then I've like duplicated this snare, and then reversed it, like reverse this snare so it goes and then into a snare. So you can just play around like with the audio files. It's and to create these little fills and stuff. But if you need the stuff there to be able to play with, so I would suggest just building up loads of drums that all work together. Make sure they're all in like the same swing and stuff like that, and they're all like quantized, so they're not all just clashing. If you hear anything that sounds a little bit like out of time, you need to go in and look at it, because it will be like a loop that's a bit busy and they've got their own timing on it, and you need to just adjust it and maybe delete the sound that's a bit out of place. There is actually something here that I need to get rid of, but I can do it another time. Yeah, so we've got hat left and right. It's purely just like a open hat or whatever it is. Let's have a look. Oh, there's some like bongo in my. Why have I got that in here? Okay, that should have been in the perk group. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a left and right hat, so it's like a closed hat on the left and right, and then I've got this like crash thing, an open hat that's like the main open hat that plays. So you see these hats, they play like a little. Well, this one plays like a little interesting pattern. So it's like, so it's playing that kind of like pattern, and then the other one's just playing like normal. And then this is, just the open hat to really add some energy. There's a shaker, which is just like a standard shaker, nothing crazy. It's just made with like a really short hat. It's just a 16 hat really, rather than a shaker, because I've already got this shaker here. And then there's this thing. So it's just another hat that's quite weird. It's not like a normal hat. And then we got this. That's just like a fill. For whatever reason, I've put this in the hat group. I suppose it's got some hats in there. Yeah, and then another hat. So it's like playing the same. They're all playing the same pattern, but they're all different sounds, and they're at different volumes and stuff. And so it kind of just makes for like nice, interesting hats, I think. So like. And they're all like, some of them are like quite quiet, so you don't get in like really like loud. Quite like live sounding as well. Like the drums I use, the kits and samples I use are from like live drums that I like using, like somebody actually playing the drums. Yeah, cool. That's a lot of the drums, so there is a lot to go over. Yeah, if you want to watch that video, I will try and remember to put it up at the top somewhere about like me actually building these drums. It takes a long time, just because like to try and find the right sounds that are all complementing each other, sieving through a bunch of samples. But yeah, if you're interested in that, then check it out. It's the last video that I uploaded. Okay, so this synth, which is probably going to change, but this is the patch, if anybody's interested in that. Yeah, so it's just like a nice, like plucky sound. There's nothing like too crazy on here. No detune or anything like that. No, this is not doing anything. It's just a sine and two triangles. It's quite open, but then it's like the envelope is not really plucky, so it gets this like whom kind of sound. And the pattern I did was just following the piano, wherever that is. Piano here. So this was it follows the melody, sorry. So like the chord, it follows the progression, but it plays like a melody within that progression. So it's like working its way up, and then yeah. So let's play it. I'll play it with the piano, so you kind of get what I mean. Oh. Or even if I do this. It's probably pretty confusing to see. Yeah, it's not like the most obvious to see, but you can see the notes are the same. So it's all like in key with each other. But yeah, like I said, this melody might change from the melody master that actually came up with the chord progression. He wants to just change it up a little bit. But yeah, so but the general sound is there and the vibe is there. Well, anyway, let's move on from that. This is just okay. So I do this quite a lot. You might have seen it in my other videos. So I basically automated this sound to send through to a bus. So I sent this sound through a return channel, this effect verb, which is like black hole crystallizer. So it's like really ambient effects, like an effect chain that I use. This crystallizes just like it echoes and granulates the sound, and you can pitch up that sound to like 12. You can see here it's 12 semiter, which is the next octave above. So you get this like crystally, sparkly, shimmery sound, and then this black hole reverb's just like a really huge sounding cavernous reverb. And so I sent the sound fully 100% wet to that, recorded it, and then that's how I got this. It's like a really beautiful pad, and then I can just use that to kind of start the story of the track. So this is going to be like, you know, the main thing in the track that kind of catches your attention, maybe. And then this is like letting you know that there's something there, but it's not like I'm not just playing this at the start because you get bored of it, I think. Cool. Then the bass was made with a sub and with the Moog. So I actually changed the bass at the end, so that the first bass is just a sub through Diva. This is just like a really plain patch. It's just like a triangle, as you can see here. Mono legato. There's literally nothing interesting about this at all. It's just like a sustained mono bass. The thing is, the piano is playing like the mid bass in a way. So if you play this sub on its own, just like a uninteresting like sub bass, and then with this, because there's obviously bass notes in the piano, and then what we did is just cut out quite a lot of that low, so it's not clashing with anything here. So you're just getting like this nice mid area of the piano, and then I switched up and added like a more interesting bass, I would say. So this guy here, here. So it's just got a bit more like character and it's driven. It was just basically a just Moog. I think possibly it's tuned to the 5th, and it's just like slightly open on the cutoff on envelope, and then here it glides. So I changed the notes. So these notes, so they would like carry over each other, and you get a slight bit of a glide effect. There's a little bit where you go, and then I've obviously opened up the cutoff just there at the start where it goes. Or the envelope might be open with the attack quite slow, so it goes wrong. Anyway, it's not that important. Just like a nice bass. It could have been anything. I could have just kept it on this sign and it would have still sound good because the piano is doing most of the work. There's the processing on here. It's got an auto filter, but that's just for. I should put that at the end. Sorry. This is like just to cut out the sound just for here. You hear that. And then let me go from this chorus isn't doing anything. So I've just split it into like dry and wet. Ah shit, I actually was supposed to do something on this wet. I'm supposed to put this EQ before and do that. That was not good. So now basically I'm on this wet signal. It's almost like using a return, but on this wet signal, so I've like duplicated the channel. So you have basically the sound is playing twice in a way. And then one of the signals is like really wet. So it's got this huge like fully wet reverb. And you're supposed to cut out the lows beforehand, so you don't basically reverb the sub, which can cause a bit of mud. So that's what I've tried to do here. And then so I have like this nice like kind of like spacious, warm bass, and that's what I wanted here. Like without it, it becomes a bit more mono, but you don't get like the whip. And you could have that kind of sound if you wanted, but I don't want it to overtake everything else. Okay, move on. So subs, nothing. I've already shown you that. This is just a pad that follows like the progression here, as you can see. It's nothing. I could show you that. It's quite a nice sound. So it's 2 sawtooths, and then it's tuned to the 5th, and then there's a bit of noise as well. So the noise feeds through, I think, as the envelope opens. Yeah. So the noise is modulated by the second envelope. So as the second envelope opens up, I think maybe I do some automation on it or something like that. Or maybe I just leave it as it is. So as the filter opens up more and more of the noise will come through, which gives it like this nice there's a bit of chorus play, and then that's it. It just nothing like really. It's a bit of glide, slight bit of stack index, which just pans the sound slightly. It's just like a wide, nice tone sounding thing that opens up slightly. You could do this in many different ways, but the main thing is obviously the progression that gives it like a nice. Because obviously it follows everything in the track. Yeah, cool. Then there's an ARP. It's more like a underlying ARP, like just to kind of add a bit of movement in certain times. Yeah, it doesn't change too much. Changes a little bit here. Yeah, it just adds that bit of tension like here. Yeah, cool. So that's the patch. It's just like a high pitched, not high pitch, but like higher octave sound, triangle, and a mix between a triangle and a saw. This is turned off. There's a bit of LFO in there, which is giving it some movement, and then the arpeggiator is being created by obviously the arpeggiating creator machine in Diva. It's just on the 16 notes, and it's just playing in one octave rather than like this. See, that's like quite distracting. It just wants to be something that's like under the, and you kind of wouldn't really concentrate on it when in the drop. Like when the drop comes in, you're more listening to like the vocal, but it's there, like it's adding energy. It's just like taking up space, but it's still there, but you're not concentrating. Yeah, so the piano is from Labs. There's nothing I can really show too much. I already showed a bit on that. The emotional pad is through Labs as well. I just use this pad all the time. It's just so nice. It's just to add like some real strings and whatnot in different parts of the track. Okay, so the vocal is very simple. It's literally just a chop from Arcade. It's just this something going. It's really nice, and it's got like obviously reverb and stuff built in. There's tape delay and reverb built into Arcade, and then I've sent it to another reverb. So it's just this really like nice, spacious, warm-ish sound, and that's it. What's the EQ doing? It's just cutting. That's not doing anything. I think I might have even copied that over from something. I don't know why I've got that. Let me see if I actually need it to sync up. Let's do that. Okay, cool. And then the other vocal is just something that I actually used from another track, which was like a chop that I did for some other track that I think I didn't release. It's just this. Yeah, that's it. It's just like it's in key with the track. I just dragged it in and it sounded good. I chopped this up from like you can see a faux sheen vote. This is from Splice, and the vocals in this pack are really nice sounding, but they're so overused, and you'll recognize them from like popular tracks and whatnot. So you can't really use them. So I just used the chops from them and like little bits, and I think it works really well for this track. It's just like. It's enough of a vocal there. There's enough like melodic stuff to keep you, interested. and then the vocals are just kind of tying it together. I only add this in the last part of the track just for a little bit of interest. It's not playing here. Yeah, that's it. So, and then there's just this rain sample playing at the bottom. And that's it. There's some returns and stuff. Like this is just a saturator that I send to the drums, like a really heavy saturation, and it just like brings out some nice textures in the drums. There's no processing on like all the musical elements. It's just individual processing. Mastering, it's not really too important because all I've done is just, well, there's some effect stuff like the Data Life. This is Endless Smile, which just adds like a bunch of reverb and cuts out the lows on the drop, like here. But you've probably seen it in my other videos if you've been watching. Yeah, it just adds like this nice drop feeling. And then I've reduced the width as well on the drop, you can see here, and then brought the width back up. So that's the width of the whole track, which makes the whole track become mono. And then on the drop, it will then suddenly become wide, and that makes everything just sound really like warm and fat. Could even do it a bit more here. Yeah, then there's a bit of compression, just like glue compression. So it's just catching that kick basically, and like just reducing it in volume a little bit, and then bringing up the volume of everything else. It's fair, it's not. Oh yeah, let me. Yeah, I don't want to blow your ears off. And then the limiter is just, yeah, it's just limiting and bringing the volume up a little bit. I'm sure you guys have seen that before. That's it. So I haven't done like a proper master on this track because obviously we're going to send it off to a mastering engineer. It's just purely to get it loud, which makes it just enjoyable to listen to. And I like to see what the track would sound like if it was at full volume. Is there anything that's sticking out or painful and whatnot? Yeah, so I hope this helped you guys. I hope I didn't take too long this time. 30 minutes. I'm really trying to cut the videos down to like 20 minutes, but it's hard to go through everything, especially in like a full production. And I haven't gone through like all the arrangement and the automation and stuff that I've done, but I could maybe cover that in another video. It takes a while, like all these little things here, but they're mostly just for like transition smoothing and stuff like that. So let me know if you want to see a video on like transition smoothing. That doesn't seem like it makes sense, transition smoothing, but yeah. Just let me know anything that you want to see in particular on this track that I can dive into more, like the thought process behind it and stuff like that. I hope this helped you guys, and I hope you have a good weekend wherever you are. Make sure you join the Discord, because we're doing this 10-day challenge I keep talking about. It finishes in 6 days, but then we do it every month, and it's just where you try and finish a track within 10 days, and you send it into the group, and then we all just give feedback to each other, and I do it all the time. I love getting involved with it, and there's some really good music that comes out of it. It just makes you accountable for your music, so it makes you like actually try and get something done. It's obviously just a bit of fun. There's no like competition or anything like that. But yeah, feel free to join. The Discord link will be down below. If you want to support the channel further, please join Patreon, or just buy any of the sample packs that are down below. They're well-made sample packs with vocal packs and the Moog samples and whatnot, but you can check that out in the links below. And please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a like, and have a good day. That's it.